Welcome and thank you for watching. This video is intended to augment the printed materials for making the trap covers used by the Garland Plausibility Trap Neuter Return program. We recommend that you follow the printed material while you watch here. We also assume that you have basic sewing skills. The first major step is to cut the fabric to its unfinished or raw size. The main body is cut 35 by 37 inches. When you're making your first cut, always look for a good, clean, straight edge, preferably a factory cut edge if you're using store-bought material. Measure off that edge, 37 inches, and make a small mark. You'll be using your straight edge to connect these two dots that you're going to make. On the other side of the fabric, again, measure out 37 inches from the first edge and make another small mark. When you have your mark made, use your straight edge to draw a line through both marks, making sure that the line connects all the way to the edge of the fabric on one side at minimum. Once you have this line drawn, and by the way, it does work a lot better with an extra set of hands. Once you have this line drawn, you will move to the other edge of the fabric and make another 35-inch mark along that same line, and then connect those two dots the same way. Be sure you go all the way to the end. Make your 35-inch mark, go to the other edge, make another 35-inch mark, use your straight edge to connect the two dots, and draw a line through those two. That will create your 35 by 37-inch square that you will then cut out. Once the main body is cut, it's time to cut end flaps. Now we're going to be using different colored cloth to make it easier to see what's going on, but you can use the same color cloth or different. Remember that the cats really don't care what color the cloth is when the time comes. Get your other one out of the way and then lay out your cloth for the end flaps. And when we cut the end flaps, they're going to be 13 by 15 inches. Usually you can cut at least 2, sometimes 3 across the length of the fabric depending upon what you've purchased. Using a good clean edge, make your mark at 15 and then move down and make another mark at 15 and draw a line between the two. Once you have that line drawn, once you have that line marked, then you now need to mark the 13-inch edges. Back at the one edge that you started with that you've got a line to, make a mark at 13 inches. And then move up and make another mark at 13 inches up on above, and then draw a line between the two. Once that line is marked, move 13 inches over, make another one. Once those marks are made, again using your straight edge, draw a line between those and then cut them. That'll give you 2 end flaps, 13 by 15. The next step is to create hems on all the fabric pieces that we've made. The main body will be hemmed on all 4 sides. The end flap pieces will be hemmed on only 3 sides, the 2 long sides plus 1 short side. Using a ruler, measure out a 3/8 inch piece of hem and iron it down to hold it in place. It'll be a 3/8 inch wide strip. Once it's ironed, roll it. Fold it back over on top of itself, 3/8 of an inch, and then iron it down. After it's ironed, pin it to hold it in place till you can sew it, and then repeat for the other 2 edges. Once those edges are done, do the other flap and the main body. We're only going to do the one flap to show you how we have done it. Once they're all ironed and hemmed, you'll have all three pieces folded and pinned and take them to the sewing machine and run a simple stitch down all the edges. That will create your folded hem. When finished, you'll have three pieces, one big piece hemmed on all four sides, and then two smaller flaps hemmed on three. The next step is to find the center line of the unhemmed edge of the flaps. To do so, fold the flap in half along the unhemmed edge and then make a mark. This will be the middle. Do the same for the other one. Next, we want to mark the main body. We want to do this one so that we'll know where to line up our small marks from the flaps, as well as to where to make our marks for the handle cuts we need. We do it the same way, fold it in half. We're going to mark both center lines, so just pick one and start. Make a mark at the edge of the fold, then make a mark on the other side, also at the edge of the fold, of course. Fold it the other way, and then make marks on that one. After you have the middles marked on all four edges of the cloth, use your straight edge and make a large cross in the middle. We will use these lines for making our handle cuts. We will also use the marks on the edges of the fabric to line up our end flaps so that those are marked into the center. Now the large piece finishes out at 33 by 35. The trap is 33 inches long, and that's the line we want to use to make a 6-inch mark centered on the cross mark to cut our handle from. So locate the line that runs down the middle that's 33 inches long. Using a ruler, make a mark 6 inches long centered on the crossbar of the line you're using. So 3 inches on either side of the bar. This will mark the cut we will make for the handle for the trap. After we mark the 6-inch, take a ruler and mark a box around that. Now we can use any size you need, but we used a simple ruler for consistency. And what you're going to do is draw a simple box around the handle mark that you will sew along to create a reinforcing stitch. That way, if the fabric gets torn a little bit from the handle, it doesn't rip the entire cover. Using the ruler, draw your box all the way around your handle cut. Once the box is marked, use your sewing machine to sew a good reinforcing stitch across the entire box to prevent it from tearing. Once you finish the reinforcing stitch, simply take a pair of scissors and cut the original 6-inch mark that you made when you started that. Once you get the handle cut, it's time to attach the end flaps. For those, they will attach to the 35-inch long sides. Note that line's straight up with the handle you just created. Take the unhemmed edge of the flap and line up the center line of the flap with the center line that you made. Take the flap, the unhemmed side, and lay it over the hem that you've made on the main body, overlapping it about the width of the seam. Line the two marks up in the middle. That centers the flap up. It should hang from the edge of the body down to the end of the flap about 13 inches. Once you have it in place, pin it. Do it on the other side and pin it as well, and then sew the flap on. The final step is to place the Velcro that holds the cover in place during use. The amount of Velcro, the sizes, can all be found in the accompanying document. It also will cover which way they need to face. All told, there will be a total of 16. 2 on each flap, 2 on the top to hold the flap open as needed, 1 in each corner, and then one on the inside of each corner for a total of 16 pieces. The most important places are the ones on the corners, so measure up 3 inches towards the flap from each corner and place a mark. This is where the long Velcro will be placed. These pieces hold the trap cover to the trap when it's in use, and they also used to hold the flaps closed when necessary. Once the 4 corners are marked, you use those marks to make the flap alignments. Grasp the corner where the flap meets the hem, align the 2 edges, and make a mark on the flap. This one the Velcro is already on to make it a little bit easier to see. Repeat for the other side of the flap and the other side of the cover. Then take the flap, fold it back over the top, and put marks where the Velcro will need to go there. Once you're done, pin them in place and then sew them down. Now it's time to see if our cover fits. Note how the flap folds back over, and that holds it open while you're using the trap to actually capture your cats. Those long pieces of Velcro we did, wrap around the wire on the end of the cage. Do that all 4 corners. That holds the sides down when the flaps are up. Once you've completed the trap and the cat is inside, you'll fold the flaps down and loosen those longer pieces off the wire and attach it to the flap, holding the flap down and holding the cover on at the same time. Thank you so very much for watching, and thank you for your support of the Garland Trap Neuter Return Program. We hope that you are successful in your endeavors, and we wish you the best of luck. Thank you once again for your help, and thank you for your support.